Hey, my name is Cedric from Vertex Marketing Agency, a Facebook ad agency, and I'm doing this video for measureschool.com. Now, today I will show you how to set up your Facebook ads for your Shopify store. So we're gonna go and we're gonna connect your Shopify store to Facebook and make sure that we're sending events like the purchase event inside Events Manager. Now, after that, we're actually gonna go in Events Manager and just confirm that we are properly receiving those events. And then once we are confident that everything is set up, I'm gonna show you the exact structure that I would recommend for an e-com store. So we're gonna cover all that in this video. Now let me share my screen and I'll show you exactly how. Okay, so I'm now inside my demo Shopify store, and the first thing I'm gonna wanna do is connect it to Facebook. So I can click on apps, and right here is the Facebook channel. So I can just click on that and download it. If for whatever reason you actually can't find it here, you can just click on view more apps in this collection. And let me just log in once more. So it brings me to apps.shopify.com, and then you can just search it in the search bar here, but I can see it, it's right here. And click on add app. Now you should see something like this, and if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you're gonna wanna click on add sales channel. So now if we look to the left, you're gonna see that you now have a new sales channel. So that's perfect. And you're gonna wanna click on start setup. Now this is where you need to connect your Facebook account, your business manager, show that you verified your domain, connect your Facebook page, and decide how much data you want to share to Facebook. And Facebook's also going to prompt you to create a Facebook and Instagram shop, and then you just have to agree to terms and conditions. Now, since it's a demo account, I won't be able to create a Facebook and Instagram shop, but I'm going to take you through all these different steps here, and I'm going to stop at about here. But then obviously, since you have a real store, you're going to be able to publish your feed to Facebook and Instagram and wait until it gets approved. And then you're going to be able to use that inside your campaigns. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later when we go inside Ads Manager and I show you how to actually create your campaigns. And then just the last step is just to agree to the terms and conditions. So I'm going to start here by clicking that button. And also wanted to say that if ever you don't really have a business manager or a Facebook page or anything like that, and you just don't know what those things are, well, no problem. I actually made another video on this channel and I really talk about all these different things and how to create them and how to put all your different assets inside your business manager. So we will leave that link of that video in the description of this video. So I clicked on the connect account button. You might not be seeing that, but I just saw it pop up and it's just asking me to put in my password. So I'm going to do that, and good. So my Facebook account is now connected, and it's just asking me to pick my business manager. Now I have a lot of different business manager and actually made one for this demo. So I'm going to pick this one right here. Now, again, this is a demo, so my domain is not verified, but obviously you're gonna wanna verify your domain. And once it's verified, you should see it. It should be green and you should be able to click the confirm button. But since again, this is demo, I'm just gonna click skip. And then you're gonna wanna choose your Facebook page. So here I have my demo Facebook page. Data sharing. So this part is actually really important. So you have 3 different options as I'm recording this video. I recommend that you choose the maximum option, and this what allows you to do is on top of just a regular Facebook pixel, you get access to advanced matching and the conversion API. Now, if you're not familiar with advanced matching, what this means is that you're sending things like your customer's first name, last name, email, phone number to Facebook. When they receive that event, they can better match that event with a Facebook profile. So this can actually allow you to see more results inside your campaigns and your ads. So really good feature. And the other one is a Facebook conversion API, which is basically instead of just sending that information through the browser using like their Facebook pixel and that JavaScript code, you're actually sending the information from server to server. So it's more secure, and especially post iOS 14, it's definitely recommended. So maximum option here will give you access to all these different features. So I recommend that you use that one. Now, if we scroll down, you're going to want to just choose your pixel. So I'm going to hit connect, and I'm going to use my demo pixel. So now this is where, like I said, I can't really connect this part because this is a demo store, so I don't actually have real products, but you're not going to run into this problem. So you're going to be able to just hit connect and move on to the next step. And now it's just a question of accepting the terms and conditions, clicking finish and setup, and you're going to be good to go. Now that it's connected, you should go to Events Manager, and you can go there by just going to business.facebook.com and click that hamburger menu here, and it's Events Manager. And you're going to want to click on test events, put in your website URL here, click on open website. And what that's going to do, it's going to actually show you which events are being sent to Facebook. So go ahead and go through the purchase process go view a product and see if you get a view content event. Add that product to your cart, see if you get an add to cart event, and then go through the rest of the purchase process, and especially make sure that you are getting purchases. And the reason I'm saying that you should do that is all themes are made differently, and I've actually seen some Shopify themes that don't really work well with the native Shopify and Facebook integration, and there actually needs to be some tweaking in the theme, or sometimes we need to message the Shopify support team so that they can help out. So just want to make sure that you're getting all your events inside Events Manager before we actually go and create a campaign. If you want to have like a video that walks you through exactly how to test events, how to really just use Events Manager, we'll actually made one of those videos on this channel, and we can leave that link of that video in the description of this video. So go ahead, just make sure that this is all set up and your events are coming in properly. Once you've done that and you've verified that everything is coming in, well, you can go to Ads Manager. So the ad account structure that I like to use for e-com store is a prospecting and retargeting structure. So you'll have one campaign optimizing for conversions that is prospecting, and you'll have another one that is for retargeting. So let's create the prospecting right now together. And I actually like to leave this off, the campaign budget optimization, because I like to set my budget on the ad set level. And for now, let's just name this interest. And I'm going to scroll down. We're selecting website. The conversion event, this is where you can kind of choose what you want, but I recommend that you start with purchase. But just keep in mind that a conversion event could be anything. And it couldn't be a good thing if ever you're having issues generating purchases. You could potentially optimize for something that is a little bit higher in the funnel, like an add to cart event. But when you're starting, and if you're just getting started, I recommend that you try to optimize for purchases. But if you're having issues generating those purchases and leaving the learning phase, and you just can't make tests because you're not getting enough purchases to make decisions, well, then you can maybe go for something, like I said, that is a little bit higher in the funnel. Now, the reason I'm getting a warning message here is because this is a demo account and I did not verify my domain. And because I did not verify my domain, I could not set up the 8 events that I want to be optimizing for. So if your domain is verified, you can go to Events Manager, and I'm going to show you what I mean right now. Okay, so I'm now in Events Manager, and if I scroll down here, there's an option that says Aggregate Event Measurement. So I'm going to click on that and click on the button Configure Web Events. Now it's going to bring me to this page, and I just need to select a domain because you do need to have a verified domain in order to configure your web events. So I'm going to click on my agency's domain, and I'm just going to click on Manage Events and hit Edit. Now on this page, this is where I can add all my events, and just keep in mind that you can only have up to 8 events. Now if we look at the right here, there's actually a priority list. So the most important events, you actually want to add them on the top, and the least important, you can add them at the bottom. So here in the example, I have a view content event, contact event, and what's most important to me as a service-based business is a lead. So for your e-commerce store, you might want to have something like view content, maybe add to cart, and then maybe initiate checkout, and then maybe at the top you want to have a purchase. So adding an event there is as easy as clicking the add event button, and then you can just choose your pixel or a custom conversion. But if you're just getting started, I recommend that you just stick with standard events. So you would just be able to select your pixel and then choose the event you want to send. And if we look at the top, here are all the events that Facebook is saying, hey, I noticed that you sent one of those events in the last 28 days. And then all the events at the bottom, those are events that you could potentially send, but just Facebook is letting you know that they have not received any of these events in the last 28 days. So if ever something is off here, maybe you want to check and make sure that those events are probably being sent. But adding it would be as easy as just clicking the button. So I'm going to click this one, and now I've added this strategy session as part of my events. And for me, maybe a strategy session is a little bit more important than the view content. So I can actually raise this one and put it right here. So once I'm happy with what I have here, I can just hit the apply button. But if for whatever reason you're not seeing the apply button, just zoom out of your screen a little bit, because it actually happens to me sometimes whenever I'm on different devices and computers that I actually don't see the apply button. So all you need to do is zoom out, and then you're going to be able to see it. And you can hit the apply button, make sure that everything looks good. And once you've confirmed that it looks good, you can just hit that, yes, I confirmed this change, and hit apply. So this should take about 72 hours, and then you should be good to go. And if you go back to Ads Manager, this message should leave. Now keep scrolling down. Budget. A question that I get often is, how much of my budget should go in prospecting and how much should it go in retargeting? Well, let's say that your total budget for both prospecting and retargeting is $150. I recommend that you actually set 70% of your budget towards prospecting. And then what we can do is we can divide that budget in between ad sets. So let's say in this example, we only create 2 ad sets, then potentially I can have $50 in this ad set and $55 in that other ad set, so that it comes down to 105, which is about 70% of 150. Now, scroll down, this is where you can add a custom audience. So the audience right now that we are creating won't be targeting a custom audience. We're going to be targeting interests, and I'll show you a little bit more about how I group my interests together in just a second. But since this is prospecting, we actually want to exclude the people that know who we are, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find new people. I'm trying to find people that don't know who the brand is. So I'm actually going to go ahead and exclude people that have been to the website, people that have purchased, maybe the email list, people that have liked or shared our content on both Facebook and Instagram. And even I'll go a step further, and sometimes I'll exclude people that have viewed certain videos on my page. So this is actually something that you can create here under custom audience, but we don't currently have anything here. So what you can do is you can actually open this up and go to Audience Manager, and then you can kind of like create all your different audiences there, and then you can import them here, and we would want to exclude them. Now, once they are all excluded, which I'm not going to do because, again, this is a demo account and I don't actually have real audiences, then we can scroll down to locations. And this is where you can tell Facebook, where do you want to target? Now, for most e-com brand, I usually just do Canada and United States, but this obviously depends on your location and where you can ship. But for now, I'm just going to add Canada, United States. Age, this is where you can put in your age. A good thing that you can do is take a look at your Google Analytics and see how old are people that are coming to your site and people that are making purchases, and you can just hit edit here and select the age group you want to target. It's not a big deal if you don't have that data. If you're like, Cedric, honestly, like I don't know how old they are. No problem. You can actually just leave it to 18 and 65 because we're optimizing for purchases. So Facebook's actually going to go ahead and only show the ad to people that are more likely to purchase. So they have a pretty complex AI that understands like all this information about their users, and they can show the ad to, like I said, people are more likely to purchase. So it's okay if you leave it to 18 and 65. But gender, I think it's really important that if you are selling a product that is only for female or man, then I recommend that you actually go ahead and select a gender, unless it's like for a big holiday like Black Friday or Christmas or Valentine's Day, where the man, let's say, will buy that as a gift for the women. So just that's the only thing to keep in mind. But if your target market or your ICP is women, then select women. But I'm just going to leave it to all for now. Now, this is where you can actually add your demographics, interests, and behaviors. So like I said earlier, I like to group my interests. So for this example, let's pretend that we are selling a product in the fitness industry. So what I'll do is I'll maybe start with saying, okay, well, go on Google and type what are all the different fitness brands. So I might find like, I don't know, like Gymshark, Lululemon, and blah, blah, blah. And then I'll add all these different interests inside that ad set. And then let me just add, let's say, Gymshark. And then I'm going to scroll back to the top, and I would call it fitness clothing brands. And let me go back to our interest. So that would be one of my ad set, but the reason I'm kind of grouping it this way so that in the future, I'm probably going to create another ad set, maybe targeting gyms. So I'll go on Google and look, okay, what are the biggest gyms in Canada and United States? And I'll see if I can actually find them right here, and I'll target those interests or behaviors. And then you can kind of like keep doing that for different ad sets. And it's better when you're trying to learn and seeing what kind of audience or what kind of people are actually purchasing and giving us a cheaper cost per result. So this is how I personally like to structure my interest. But like I said, I'll have another ad set that is actually targeting custom audiences. When I'm starting with new client for prospecting campaign, depending on their budget, I'll always start with 2 ad sets, but sometimes I'll start with 3 or 4 ad sets. Again, it really depends on the budget. But let's keep going down here. And placements, I always like to start with automatic placements. And this is what I do every time I work with the new client. But if ever you found that no, the majority of your purchases are actually happening on specific placements, then you can always go and choose manual placements. But honestly, this is not the biggest thing that you could change that would help with results. I would say to focus more on audiences and creatives and not so much on the placements, because we're optimizing for purchases and Facebook's going to show the ad to the people that are more likely to purchase. So let's keep scrolling down. And optimization and delivery, I actually don't really play with that too much, especially post iOS 14, just because there's not so much that you can change anymore. You used to be able to change the attribution setting, but unfortunately the 7-day view and 28-day click is gone. So we're kind of like stuck with this attribution window here. So let's now go to the ad level. So here the ads is the reason why the prospecting and retargeting structure works so well, because these people don't know who you are. So you want to create ads that takes them through the experience and explains in like 6 to 10 seconds exactly what you sell and some of the benefits and why they should actually purchase from you. So ads that you can use here are UGC, so user generated content. So you can just ask maybe one of your customers to give you an honest review of your product, and that could be one of your ad, or you could have like other videos. But what we found is for prospecting, usually videos perform best because you can explain more a product in a video compared to an image. So for your prospecting campaign, try to use a little bit more videos, but definitely try maybe an image is something that's actually going to perform better. So I always like to leave this on the ad preview, and I just select my Facebook page, my Instagram account, and if we keep scrolling down here, we're going to be creating an ad, but you can do a few of the things. You can use an existing post. So let's say you have a Instagram or Facebook post that is performing really well and that got lots of likes and comments. You can actually bring them here and just click use this existing post and select the post ID. Like I said, it's going to bring that post here, but it's also going to bring the engagement. So it could be a good thing to actually start your campaign with some engagement, some likes and comments, so that it's, social proof. So that could potentially help with conversions. But the only downside is that you cannot change the headline, the copy, and tweak your message. So again, that's the only downside with this. I honestly usually like to just create an ad from scratch and add my primary text, and I had a few different versions, so 2 to 3 versions, and same thing with the headlines. I'll have, let's say, 2 to 3 headlines, and here you can add your description, optimize text per person. I actually like to enable that. So I'll leave this on, and the call to action for prospecting is gonna depend. If I'm doing a sale, I like to use the shop now button, but for prospecting, I kind of like to use the learn more button. I find that like if people don't know who you are, the learn more button is good. And if especially you have a good landing page or a good product page describing the benefits and maybe some reviews and all that kind of stuff on the page, then the user can kind of like learn more. But the goal of the prospecting campaign is to get people that are not aware of your brand, educate them, show them who you are, and get them to know, like, and trust. And then usually we get more conversions on the retargeting campaign, and some of these people can be tracked, but some of them just come maybe organically or by direct traffic, and there's lots of different ways that they can come to the website. But prospecting campaigns more just like to educate the customers. Here you just add your website URL. Don't forget to add your UTMs, and you can scroll down, and in tracking, just make sure that your Facebook pixel is selected. And if you verified your domain, you're also going to be able to select your domain here. And once everything is set up and you've reviewed, perfect, you can actually maybe duplicate this ad. And let's say this was actually a UGC video, maybe your other ad could just be like an explainer video. But I like to duplicate because it saved me some steps, especially if I'm using the same like primary text or description. You can just duplicate your ad so that you can save some time, like I said. And then once you've reviewed everything, you can maybe publish that ad set. So now that this ad set is good to go, I like, again, to save myself some time, I'll duplicate this ad set right here. And I'm gonna name this Lookalike 4%. And scrolling down, we're selecting the same options here. Going down, we're excluding the same people, but under custom audience, I'm gonna go back to audience manager, or you can also create them right here and by clicking the create new button, so custom audience. And I'm gonna bring a CSV file of all my customers and maybe my email list, and I'm gonna create a lookalike audience. And post iOS, depending on the audience size, I like to go at about 4%. So that's why I have 4% there. And that's just basically saying to Facebook, hey, here are my customers, and go ahead and find me other people that are just like those ones. And that's something that before iOS 14, I would always do, and it would be my best performing audience. But now these days, it still works, but sometimes actually an interest-based audience can perform better. But if I'm, creating a new structure and working with a new client, I always like to just test it and see for myself. So same settings here, same age, right? Everything stays the same. It's just I will remove the interest there. And the ads, I like to use the same ads that I'm using in my other ad set. And the reason for that is because I don't want too many variables. I don't want to have different audiences and different ads, because if one ad set's performing better, I won't know if it's actually the creative or the audience. So with one variable, I will know that it is the audience. So that is basically it for prospecting. Let's just actually go back here, and we said that it was a total of 105. So I'm going to add that extra $5. And this prospecting campaign would be good to go, right? So you can launch it now, or you would be able to wait until we have our retargeting campaign set up. So for retargeting, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and duplicate my prospecting campaign, and I'm going to name it retargeting. Still, we're using the conversion. We actually are all good here. I am going to enable campaign budget optimization, because for retargeting, I'm actually only going to have one ad set. And the reason for that is because I'm adding all my different warm audiences together. So it's like combining everything, especially post iOS 14. That's what I found performs best. So going to my ad set, I'm just going to name this warm audience. Scrolling down, still optimizing for purchases. That's all good, all good. And again, Canada, United States, make sure that I don't have any interest there. And sorry, if you go back here under custom audience, this is where I'll add people that have been to my website, people that have added the product to their cart, people that are maybe on my email list that did not purchase, people that follow me on social media, people that have viewed certain videos. So I really want to stack everything, because like I said, after iOS, and there's even a little warning message here, they're saying that the audience size has decreased by a lot. So you want to try to add as much as possible without obviously going overboard, but you want to have a big enough audience so that you can get some purchases and conversions. Now, for the ads, what I actually like to do is use different style of ads. So this is where, let's say you're selling shoes, then you can maybe have your shoes and have a testimonial right on top of it. I also like to use testimonials, like reviews, in the primary text. That's something else that works. So you can actually use maybe more like carousels, like images. UGCs are still really good right here, so user generated content, but the content can be a little bit different because these people know who you are. So you don't need to explain the product as much as you would do inside your prospecting campaign. So create those ads here. For retargeting, I like to have at least 3 ads. For prospecting, 2 to 3 is good depending on how much you're spending, but for retargeting, 3 ads is usually what's good. And if I go back to the campaign, and this is actually where I'm going to set up the budget. So like I said, we're doing 30% of the total budget. That is $150 a day. So that comes down to about $45. And that's good. And I would just review this in campaign, and then when it's ready to go, then I can hit publish. And what I'm actually going to do when this campaign is published is look at the frequency, right? Especially that if you don't know how large the audience is, the warm audience, it could potentially be really low after iOS 14, or if let's say it's a newer business, you might not have lots of followers or lots of page views. So take a look at the frequency, and if the frequency in let's say a day or 2 is higher than 2 or 3, that's when you know that you have to lower the budget in retargeting and put more of that budget inside prospecting. So guys, that is it for this video. Hopefully you found some value in it. Just to recap what we've covered. So we saw how to connect your Shopify store to Facebook so that we can send all the different events like purchase, add to cart, to your pixel, and that also creates you a Facebook and Instagram shop. We went into Events Manager to just verify that these events are properly coming in, and now in Ads Manager I showed you the account structure that I recommend for e-com businesses, so with prospecting and the retargeting structure and some of the options that you should be turning on and off. So again, hopefully that was valuable. That is it for this video. Bye for now.
All right, thanks Cedric for this great information. If you want to find out more about Facebook tracking and analytics, then check out our playlist right over there. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button as well. And my name is Julian from everybody here at Measure School. Happy measuring.